Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joan, and today is going to be a very chill video. I just wanted to share what I've been watching these days. And for me, it's a little bit. I've been watching a lot. And usually I do the what I watched this month type of videos a la Karsten Run Quints, as you know at this point. I only watched one thing last month. So if you don't know what CSI New York is, CSI New York is a police procedural that aired from 2004 to 2013. It is about a group of CSI in New York City and they solve cases. To me, Law & Order SVU and CSI New York are literally the same show, different fonts. Like, I can't explain it, but they're the same to me. Like, they are the same. I watched it for a month straight. Like, I started the last week of January and watched all the way through like the last week of February, a solid month. I was very like happy watching it. Like, I binged it during work, which is funny, but I would like watch during work because like I just have the type of job where I can like listen or watch other things while I'm doing my work. And I almost like fell in love with this show again. Like, I had such a fun time watching it. This like second time around, Sheldon Hawks, he was great. Also in season 7 through 9, the woman that played Stella left the show, and so they got a new character called, her name was Jo Danville. I don't know why I was hating so much back then. Maybe because Stella left. Jo was actually a really great character. I love the addition of her character. She was almost like another Mac, like a Mac Taylor in a different font. You know what I mean? But I will be doing a deep dive video on CSI New York because I'm going to do one of my favorite series that's going to happen on this channel a lot more, is where I just talk about my favorite episodes. And definitely my favorite episode of CSI New York is Snow Day, which is season 3, episode 23. It's the season finale. I love this show. I love that episode. And it's the way I'm lusting after Mac Taylor. He's an older man. I'm not into old men. But in this episode, I don't know what to say. I hope you guys dig the look. I'm actually filming on my iPhone 13 Pro Max, which I'm like in like love with. Like, I'm just like, oh my god, because like of course I charge my light, but I don't charge my camera batteries, and so I'm just kind of like, damn. But I really wanted to film this video, and then my sister was just like, just use your phone. And I'm like, you are so right. Like, I need to get in the habit of just like filming on my phone, because I got this phone for a reason. I got this in Mac mode. I mean, look at it. It's so freaking nice. The depth of field, I can't even. Okay, I can't even. And then to end the month of February, I finished Euphoria season 2 like everyone else, and holy shit, this season was crazy. Was it better than season 1? No, it really wasn't. But Sam Levinson, as everyone will say, we will see him in hell for the way that he's written some of these characters, his directing. I saw a TikTok that said, you know, Sam Levinson should definitely pivot into music videos. And I think that woman was onto something, because Sam Levinson's cinematography and his DP, I forget his name, they're really good cinematographers. Like, the visuals, they're killing the game for visuals. Directing, writing, he definitely needs a writer's room. Definitely need a writer's room. At this point, I don't know what can be said about Euphoria. Lexi was my favorite character. Her whole play and like book, like, and planning it, and you know, Bobby was the most underutilized character. We need more Bobby in season 3. I don't know what they can do with Addison Rae. I'm very interested to see. Would I be surprised if Barbie does not come back to the show? Not really. There's a lot of plot holes, but like I said, this has already been stated. In the beginning of March, I went to the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, and I went as part of the Film Studies program that I was a part of in 2021 when I was a senior in college, but it was COVID, so it was online. But this year was in person, and oh my god, it was freaking amazing. I saw 6 different films. These are the films that I watched. I watched Licorice Pizza, Belfast, Sheroes, Between Two Worlds, The Art of Rebellion, and The Good Boss. I could go into like a very big deep dive of all of them. Let me just do some like general gists. Belfast was pretty good. I really liked it. I liked how personal the story was, because it was essentially Kenneth Branagh's childhood. And then we got a private Q&A with him I got to talk to him. He looked me deep into my eyes, and I asked him what the casting process was like, because personally, I think casting is one of the most underappreciated aspects of filmmaking. And when a story or a show or a movie or anything has great casting, looks and acting wise, like it's so good. Like, they should really have a casting category in all award shows in every aspect, because like, come on, like, it's so good. It was just really nice. Like, Jamie Dornan, really great job. It was shot in black and white. Like, the cinematography didn't really jump out at me, you know. All in all, it was a really good film. I also watched Sheroes, which was the one of 2 documentaries I saw during this festival. It's basically about a midwife at the end of her career, and she's training other midwives in France, and that's basically all it is. Like, they're just following her for like a month or so, and she's just doing her job. And they basically talk about the first like couple days of post-birth. So Chantal, that's the midwife's name. So basically she's going around from house to house, so she's talking to different women, and you don't really get that first look at pregnancy, or that first look at post-pregnancy, giving birth, dealing with all those, you know, aspects of being a mother and things like that. And it was a really interesting film. And again, we got a private Q&A with the director, and I just love the way she articulated her points. And then the next movie I saw was The Art of Rebellion. That was actually the first film I saw at the festival. It was a really great film. It was a documentary about a mural artist out of Pasadena who has MS. Basically, it shows her like struggles with MS and her struggles with like the healthcare system and finances, and she's a really loving mother. Like, that's the one thing I really took away from this film, is that like she loves her kids. She's 2 daughters, one of them does have autism. You could just really tell that she tries to bring her kids in a really loving environment and tries to really encourage them for who they are. It was really great to see and really inspiring. And also on top of that, her work is beautiful. The way that she paints and creates dark-skinned women, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Next film I watched was Licorice Pizza, which I did not like Licorice Pizza. Paul Thomas Anderson's on thin ice for me. I also went to a whole bunch of award shows during the festival, and the first one I went to was about it was directors, so it was Outstanding Directors Award, and Paul Thomas Anderson, he was there and he was answering questions and talking about the concept of film Licorice Pizza. And like, I remember when this film got the theatrical release, and a lot of people did not like it because of the 10-year age difference between the 2 characters, Gary and Alana, which is interesting because I saw an interview with him. I don't know how recent this was. I think this was actually in the last like 3 months. And basically, there was also Asian caricatures of women in this film because it's set in the 70s. And he did an interview with Variety or Vanity Fair. Oh no, it was IndieWire. That's what it was. And basically they were just like, yeah, so you have any like thing to say about like the controversy people say? And he's just like, well, you know, like, I don't know how people came to that point. Sir, you are over the age of 50. You know exactly how people got to that point. His whole concept for this film and the way he described it, it was honestly gave me the ick. Like, it was just like, you literally are saying, oh, you know how like when kids try to impress adults, like what if a kid impressed like an adult at their picture day? Like, that's a funny concept. That's debatable. And it sucks too, because Connor Hoffman, I think that's his name, and Alana Haim from the girl band Haim both made their acting debuts to this movie, and like, to me, it wasn't really a good movie to debut in. Like, they did really good in terms of what they got, but like, I really did not like this film. Like, I don't understand the hype. The film in itself really drags on. It literally meanders, and it's like done on purpose. It's supposed to represent like Alana and Gary's relationship, and I'm just like, it's boring. It's not amusing. These caricatures, I'm tired of seeing of people, of women of color. If there's anything I learned from that movie and the whole Q&A and everything like that, nepotism is alive and well. The way him and his producer just talked about like, oh yeah, it's just like having your friends and family, like that's how it felt. And I'm just kind of like, okay. The second to last film that I watched was The Good Boss. It is a Spanish film, and it stars Javier Bardem as a boss of a scale company. And basically the company is in running for an award with 2 other companies, so he wants to impress the committee that's going to judge him. But all this shit hits the fan like the week they're trying to come look at the company. Like, his head of operations is going through like a depressive episode and it's just like not doing his job correctly. He sleeps with an intern who turns out to be a family friend's daughter that he didn't even realize. One employee gets fired and then like completely stakes out the places like on the outside, being like a menace, and he's just dealing with all these different things. It's funny too because it's called The Good Boss, but in this film he's pretty much meddling in everyone's business and not being a good boss, and he's going to extreme lengths just to get an award. And the funniest thing too is that he has a lot of rewards. Like it kind of starts that way, like this man, he hails his business, you know, it's very important, like his father started this business and everything. And so when he gets the award on the wall, like he gets the award, spoiler alert, he gets the award, and then his handyman's helping him, but this handyman's son is like involved in the drama that he created. Basically it makes you wonder, like, what else did he do to get all these other awards? Because if he did all this just to get this one, it really just makes you think. And it was really crazy. Lots of drama, and honestly it was the funniest film. It was the funniest film I saw. A lot of like awkward drama, awkward situations, a lot of situational humor, a lot of like the dialogue. Ooh, there's this dinner scene, ooh man, hilarious. And then the last film I'm going to talk about, my favorite film that I saw, is called Between Two Worlds, and is about a writer in France who goes undercover as a maid in order to write about an unemployment / poverty crisis in France. This film was beautiful. I loved this film. I think what I loved about it was how high stakes it was, because this woman is going undercover and yet she develops a womanhood with her other fellow maids, and she even like has a self-doubt within herself whether she wants to write this book and what it will mean to people and what it means to the people that she's close with, and like how they're gonna feel betrayed. And I completely loved it. It was a great film. Now I must say though, because gotta think intersectionally, a lot of these films I've been seeing as of late, a lot of different TV shows, and when it comes to representation, is that there still is a lack of representation for Black people, for Black women in particular. And I think Between Two Worlds is an amazing film, but it does beg the question, what would it look like if a woman of color was a protagonist? It would be a completely different movie, and that's fine. But I think, in my opinion, I think it would have elevated it a little bit more, because you have to start thinking about representation in that way. You have to start thinking intersectionally. And that's why it irks me when people are just like, oh, why does every movie have to be political now? When does representation become political? Only when it's considering other people of color. It's crazy. I'll never understand that. Like, that's something that will completely bog down my mind. I don't get it. Then I did a nice little rewatch of Fast and Furious 6 when I went over to my boyfriend's. Nothing new to say. I love Fast and Furious. It was just a movie I wanted to put on. Then, also when I was at the film festival, I managed to binge a whole season of TV, which was Reacher Season 1 that's on Amazon Prime. It stars the character of Jack Reacher, he's a retired special investigator from the military who comes to Georgia to just enjoy a nice little vacation until he comes to the diner and then immediately gets arrested for murder. I loved the movies with Tom Cruise. The first one is better than the second one, but I like to argue that the first Jack Reacher movie is probably one of the most underrated action thrillers ever. Like, that movie is really good and no one talks about it. Like, I love this movie. This movie is so good. I can rave about it all the time. And plus it has Tommy from Power. It has arguably probably one of his best performances I've ever seen, and he was on Law & Order SVU and he was pretty good in that. And so Jack Reacher uncovers like a whole conspiracy about the town, this small Georgia town, and he gets help from the sheriff department. I forget the woman's name because it's a woman with like a very masculine name. I want to say it's like Scooter or Scout or something like that. And then you have the Black lead detective who's a Black man who wears tweed in Georgia. Obviously this man's not supposed to be there, but he's there, and it's very interesting, the dynamic between those three specifically, because it was not all like sunshine and rainbow from the beginning. I love the action. Jack Reacher is the type of character, he's such a know-it-all character, but at the same time it's not in a pretentious way. It could be like, can come of like, oh my god, you're such an asshole, but at the same time the way it's played by the lead actor, I forget his first name, his last name is Richson, and he gives this character like a suave, know-it-all type of feel. Like, yeah, if you need me to analyze the situation, I will analyze it for you. Like, I know what happened just from the evidence. He was a special investigator for a reason. I had so much fun watching it. Like, I was tuning in, like I was binging this show right when I got to California. It was so good. It was so good. I finally started catching up on Abbott Elementary. I'm still catching up, but I just want to give a quick mention because Abbott Elementary is really, really good. Quinta from BuzzFeed wrote this show, created this show, created these characters. Quinta from BuzzFeed. I remember in middle and high school watching this woman do skits about everything. Quinta was so funny. I remember the fucking nice rap battle. Like, I'm gonna go to the kitchen get a cup of noodles. Like, I remember that. And she was on Black Lady Sketch Show only for season 1, but I only presume because she was filming Abbott Elementary while season 2 was happening. And this show is funny. If you're not watching Abbott Elementary, please watch it. The last thing I watched recently was Coda, because the Oscars is in T-minus 5 days, and my goal is to watch the rest of the Best Picture nominees, so you know, I can get some of my own opinions in, I guess. And I watched Coda last night, and I want this film to win. I can see why this film's getting all the accolades. Like, this is such a family drama, and the thing is that I think people are not really, like, I saw this one comment saying how people think it's filmed like a Disney movie. Okay, I think people are against it because it actively centers a family that has a disability. Now again, let me preface by saying, let's think intersectionally here. Just imagine if that family was a black family. We'd be having a whole different conversation. It'd be a whole different movie. But nonetheless, it doesn't change the fact that Coda is an amazing movie. And when I was at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, I got to meet 2 of the actors. The one that played Ruby, her name is Amelia Jones, and the one that played her dad, his name is Troy something. But Troy knows how to clean up though. He looked good. Amelia is actually British, which I was like, whoa, didn't know that. It was such an amazing film. Like, it was funny, it was lighthearted, it had a really deep message of like family duties, which I can definitely relate as an immigrant person. But granted, it is kind of different because there's a disability involved versus like generational / like immigrants, parents and children. That's the only difference. That's a little bit of a difference. I don't say the only difference. Man, this movie it made me cry. I cried like 3 different times. Amelia was a beautiful singer. I got her audition song, Both Sides Now, which was so cute when she started signing to her family, and the people in there were just like, oh my god, so sweet. And like, it was a great film. Beautiful film. And that's what I've been watching lately. It's been pretty nice, pretty chill. I'm very excited for should I be excited for the Oscars? Not really. I just want to see what wins, because I know a lot of people, or some people, are boycotting because of the fact that they're not going to air all of the awards, which I feel like some of the awards that they're not going to air are pretty big ones, like editing, best score, like visual effects. Come on, like, how can you not put that on TV? Like, you're already doing a 3-hour ceremony. Why take those out? DJ Khaled is going to be involved somehow. I swear to God, if he performs, if they get rid of those categories just for him to perform, I'm going to be upset. Because, do y'all remember when Eminem performed at the Oscars? It was weird. And it's because they didn't have hosts. They have hosts this year. I wish Amy Schumer wasn't really one of them, even though I might watch her new show. I saw the trailer, and I also saw a clip of it. Listen, I'm gonna watch promptly. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.